Dying Light 2's photo mode is certainly fun to play around with, but it is pretty basic when it comes to options though. Cyberpunk 2077, however, has a few cool features to make much more realistic images that I personally would love to see added to Dying Light 2. So I thought I'd compare what both photo modes do well and highlight the things from the Cyberpunk one that I think Techland could hopefully add to their game at some point in the future. So one of the most fun things to do in photo mode is to capture an action shot, and Dying Light 2 does this pretty well, to be honest. Pausing the game during a fight will actually capture Aiden with whatever weapon you have equipped still in hand, but it doesn't capture the weapon in mid-swing sadly though, and only stops in this same pose every time. Cyberpunk is the same in this respect, but it does however give the option to use set action poses with set weapons. There's even a muzzle flare toggle to make firearms look more realistic too, and overall, this method makes an awesome action shot in the right circumstances. But if you can time it right, the Dying Light 2 photo mode can capture things like drop kicks and the subsequent flying zombies. Or you can even choke out a zombie from behind and capture that, which you cannot do in Cyberpunk as drone mode is locked during a choke animation. Okay, so the results aren't always perfect and don't always look particularly solid, but it does do a pretty good job of literally pausing the action as it was during gameplay, so it's not a bad start for the DL2 photo mode. Okay, so it's really personal preference as to which action shot method you prefer, but there's also a ton of idle posing options on Cyberpunk that are really great for selfie shots. This feature, along with a few other options that I'll come to in a moment, can create some very cool and pretty realistic results. And this is where DL2 photo mode lacks in my opinion, because as I said earlier, he's always in that same pose every time, and he looks very stiff even compared to the NPCs around him, and much less organic than the Cyberpunk results. Also, Aiden always has that neutral expression on his face, which is far from natural or photogenic looking. And if we had the option to change the facial expressions as you do on Cyberpunk, then it'd add a whole new dimension to it and just make it much more fun to use in general. The most effective option that Cyberpunk photo mode offers though is the look at camera feature. When activated, your character's eyes literally blink into life, and as you move the camera around, it really gives the impression that she's actually alive, and it's pretty creepy to be honest. Honestly though, even if Techland could only add this feature and put some life into Aiden's eyes and give us the different facial expressions option, then I'd be pretty happy with just that. However, I would also love the option to enter photo mode during a dialogue scene, which is currently locked on Dying Light 2. But amazingly, you can actually do this in Cyberpunk. The only limitation is when a dialogue scene is from a seated position, as you can't use drone mode then. I love having the option to stop for a selfie with the main characters right in the middle of a cutscene, which is not only great fun, but can produce some fantastic images. I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to make Aiden look at the camera, smile, and pose for a selfie with the lads just before things go south at the VNC Tower? Lastly, it would be really cool if the DL2 photo mode had some sticker options like these. Yeah, you could argue that it's not really necessary, but there's already a ton of graffiti designs around the map that they could use. And if we could have a few Dying Light 2 logos, that'd be a really nice touch too, especially for people who want to make thumbnails. So, as I said in the beginning, the current Dying Light 2 photo mode is already pretty good fun, but when you see how effective some of the Cyberpunk features are, then you surely have to admit that Techland could really improve on it, and I really hope they do consider adding some of them in the future updates. So what do you think? Do you agree that the Dying Light 2 photo mode would be improved by some of these features? Or are you happy with it the way it is now? Let me know in the comments as always, and if you enjoyed the video then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.